I really wanted to make a video whilst I'm feeling a wave or a surge of emotion. Oh God. I personally have been looking into the twin flame journey as a concept, and what brought me to looking into it was my own personal experiences. And I suppose on some level it's similar to when somebody clicks with a way of looking at life or an understanding, and for me that was what I could relate to. And I'm feeling really emotional because in the 5D I feel very connected to my counterpart, and in the 3D we've recently had text message communication, and it was the same. It was a similar pattern, and I don't mind the pattern. I feel like cycles are natural in nature, especially as females. Personally, I menstruate, so I'm used to being aware of like cycles and stuff, and like I can feel the growth and the healing in every cycle, and the changes that and like the developments that have been made. And I feel like a lot of the tarot card readers and a lot of the twin flame YouTubers, they come online when they're very grounded, when they're very together, and I've been crying in the past like couple of minutes, briefly, and I was kind of observing my surge of emotion and not denying it and allowing it to happen. And then I thought, I'm going to make a video now because I want to share from this place. And as soon as I empowered myself by using that feeling of overwhelmed emotion or helplessness emotion to be productive and to be of use to me, it almost subsided instantaneously. Like, as soon as I started the video, literally, as soon as I got the camera up on the video, I was still crying. And then as soon as I pressed record, this shift occurred within me, and it was kind of like I could feel the flip side of not being bogged down by the journey, but embracing it as a authentic alignment to taking action like this in this instance. And it's taken me maybe like an hour and a half or 2 hours to reach this point, because I've put into place other methods of responding to emotion. So for example, journaling, writing things down, distracting myself with a creative process. I've painted the skirting boards in the bathroom, hence the tin of paint we have here. Ooh. And I played some music. It didn't work for me. I know my nature, and with the paints I was like, oh, maybe I can do the door frames, maybe, and I could just feel it escalate, and I was like, no, I've painted what I said I was going to paint. I'm going to stop there and put everything away. I was going to underdo some paperwork, like some forms and applications that like I need to do, but I can't find my login password. And I was like, no, because when I'm going through these motions, okay, it might be healthy to have a meditative distraction. So for example, painting the floorboards for me in peace and quiet was a form of focused concentration that allowed me to see the fruits of my labour, but wasn't overwhelming me. Whereas if I tried to take on an admin task from a place of emotion as a form of distraction, it's not conducive, it's not in alignment. And I knew that the universe was like, no, you're not meant to do this application now. That's like for when you've got a clear head, and that's not for like 8:30 at night on a Friday evening. Like, So I closed the laptop, the music didn't work. The journaling, I realised, was narrowing down my options into over-analysis. So it wasn't actually helping me as a form of sort of flowing with my emotional experience. And I acknowledged to myself at the beginning of becoming upset that I wanted somebody to talk to, and I went through my phone book. I don't have that many contacts in my phone book. And I maybe made 2 calls and neither friend of mine answered at the time, which is fine. One of them's got like 5 kids and the other one works full time and lives with a partner, so it's like completely understandable. So I went outside, got some air, chatted to my neighbours, came in, made myself a cup of tea in my favourite mug, and I was avoiding watching one of the tarot readers on Twin Flame Journeys when actually that's what I wanted to do. Like, I wanted to watch it, so I let myself begin to watch it, and then that's when telepathic communication with my counterpart came through and emotional expression came out. So I'd been trying to force myself to rise above it and being like, this is immature, I can't be bothered with this, I just want to settle down, get married, have children, have a nice home, have a nice career. Like, I know what I want and it's fine. I also love to travel. I'm very flexible. Like, I'm open-hearted as a soul on this journey, and I often make decisions in alignment with divine purpose or divine timing, and my higher self and the greater good and my own personal good. So that's fine. And seemingly the only thing that felt right was to speak to the camera. Also, a lot of the people in my life that I feel a connection with regarding spirituality and the twin flame journey and ascension and all of these things, it tends to be a one-way dynamic. So I'm watching them and, you know, relating to what they're saying as opposed to having a two-way conversation with a pal in the 3D. And even my friends in the 3D that are, you know, sort of self-identified with being on a spiritual journey, I'm aware of my own boundaries and my own comfortability with sharing being on a twin flame journey, and I use that as a turn of phrase for relatability. My experience was I met this individual completely unexpectedly at a really tense point in my life, and it was, I understand now why these connections are so profound, because the amount of waves of doubt and lots of other things that come up when we're on this journey make the experience questionable. But I've found that in my experience it's undeniable. It's undeniable that there is a profound connection with this person. There are synchronicities that are undeniable. There are, like, for example, 3 times we've met in person. The first time was the first time we met. The second time I reached out and we met. And the third time we bumped into each other, you know, in a massive city of like millions of people. So I think back to rooting my emotions and my decisions into lived experience and reality when I feel like I need to ground. So yeah, we have met, we have shared interactions, we have had conversations in the 3D, and it was real, like it happened. So I think where I'm at on this journey at this moment in time, I mean, we're September 2021 now. My personal experience is not allowing myself to fall into holes of the past that previously have taken me a long time to work my way through. And because I've done that work then, I find it easier to not have to go back down them again now. So I know that that's what's happened. That's based in lived reality. That's been my experience. So I find that quite grounding. And I'm realising again now, as I mentioned earlier in this video, that as soon as I picked my camera up to put it on record, because I thought these are the moments that, you know, we don't always get to see. We don't get to see people upset or in the midst of emotion because it's deemed to be unstable or unattractive or sort of crazy or hysterical or mental health problems. And that's not my experience. I actually feel healthier for being an emotional person, with boundaries and with self-understanding and self-love, but also with discipline and reverence to this journey on earth, this life experience, in conjunction with managing a home and, you know, lots of paperwork and just like day-to-day living and my personal situation, as well as my physical health and my family and my friends. So it's, yeah, I find it quite interesting that as soon as I took this emotion, and I had taken this emotion prior, you know, to paint the skirting boards, to journal in my diary, to listen to music, to go online and complete this form, and those things, though some of them worked, some of them didn't, the one that helped me to empower myself, which I didn't know was going to be the outcome when I made that decision, because I wanted to share the parts of this journey that aren't centered and grounded and sovereign, and I wanted to allow myself to be upset. And, you know, I'd had a sort of brief interaction in the 5D telepathically with my counterpart prior to making this video, and in the end, quite early on, I could feel him reaching out to me, and I was just like, no. And then as soon as I did that, that's when the tears came up and came out. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I was trying to rise above it before I experienced the emotion. I was trying to like cut out that middle part unconsciously, you know, and I was thinking, this is quite immature, like we're both grown adults, like this isn't what I want this connection to be. And yeah, so the thing that I've found has kind of flipped the script in a way was wanting to create content or to document my personal experience, and hope that in some way recording in those authentic moments where it's not nice and rainbows and kittens and angels and guardians and peace, love and light and fucking pretty tarot cards, when it's actually really exhausting and really upsetting, and you kind of feel like, no, like just no, you know. And yeah, so that's what this was. I'm going to upload this now. I also recorded myself painting my skirting boards, but I won't put them up. But anyway, yeah, farewell.